Hi guys, welcome to today's plumberparts.co.uk video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to change over a whole house booster pump for this amazing universal 3-bar Monsoon from Stuart Turner. We're going to unbox and show you this Monsoon 3-bar negative head pump. We're also going to talk about the difference between universal and standard pumps before going to this old house where I'll show you how to remove the old pump, install this new beast of a pump, commission it and getting the system working so it adequately supplies the pressure to at least 3 bathrooms. Remember, all the tools that I use in this video you can get on our Amazon store, links to that below. So let's get on with the video. If you haven't clicked the subscribe button yet, please do that now. Leave a comment below and of course consider joining the AL Army for Thursday night live streams. Anyway, let's get on with the video and remember to hold tight. So first thing is, we've got a lot of pumps here. These are all different types of pump. But what I want to do before we fly into what's in the box and all the rest of it, I just want to go over a brief overview over the difference between a universal and a standard pump. Now, a standard pump relies on gravity water pressure to flow through the pump, initiate a little micro switch in the pump that will turn the pump on, and then that will start to pressurize the pump and work okay. These can be a problem if you don't have enough head pressure because, say, the shower that you're trying to turn on or the tap you're trying to turn on is so high up in the house that the header tank doesn't have enough water to push down and turn it on. But sometimes you need to think about popping in a universal pump. Now, I would say now, as a plumber, I would recommend that most of my customers, all of my customers, put in a universal pump. The difference about a universal pump is that it's got this small charge here that when we open up a tap, the charge shoots through already and initiates the pump. We're not relying on the gravity pressure coming down from a tank to turn the pump on. So in this diagram here, we're looking at the installation of a standard Stuart Turner Monsoon. Take special note about where that shower head is in relation to the tank in the loft and also where the pump is. The pump is sat just above the shower head, which in this installation is the highest in the house, but usually you'd find it installed down next to the hot water tank. Now, if we look at a negative head pump, take note of the fact that we've got a small vessel here of built up pressure. So now we can open up a shower head even if it's above the water tank level, and that small amount of pressure being released will initiate our flow switch and turn the pump on. So before we go too far, let's see what's in the box. I'm just gonna take all these bits down. Oh my god, oh my god. Installation, operation and maintenance instructions, the most important bit. Look, so right here, tucked away in here, we've got all our really good braided hoses, and if you look at them, they're full bore, fully open, absolute beast, really nice. And then, we've got the pump itself, total beast of a pump there, look at that. Lovely jubbly. Right, so a few things I just want to sort of draw your attention to. Number one, the rubbers are already fitted on the end, so don't go mad going, oh, where are the rubbers? They're actually on here already. Now, these little blue bits on here are purely there at the moment to protect the internals of the pump while it's on its way to you. You'll also notice that wiring it up, we've just got standard twin and earth going in, so that could go onto a plug or it could go into a fuse spur, something like that to make that work. So that's quite simple. We've got the thick old anti-vibration rubber feet on there as well. Going back to the flexies, we've still got the standard isolation valves that we're going to get on there. And when we actually get to this job, I'm probably going to be doing some pipework changes to that as well because the pipework in there isn't great. Also, and in a little bit of a Plumber Parts exclusive, there's also been a product update for the Showermate. Without going into too much detail, beforehand you'd have had the Showermate, Showermate Eco and Showermate TP, but these are now all included under the Showermate umbrella. Which is kind of funny because you'd need an umbrella, wouldn't you, if you were under it? Anyway, you've still got all the quality and reliability associated with Stuart Turner's products, but now the Showermate will come in 3 performance options: the 1.5, the 2 and the 2.6 bar, universal or standard, and twin or single models to choose from. So now you guys can spec a bathroom with confidence with a wide range of applications as well. Another thing you need to know about the Monsoon, which Dave behind the trade counter probably won't be able to tell you, is obviously it's had a facelift. Redesign has cured some of the flow restrictions you used to get with bullet floats and NRVs. Also, there's more standardised components across the range, which will make spares and maintenance easier. But this is one thing I love and I think will be resounding for you guys. They've reduced the amount of components, which improves reliability. Something I think, well, I'll appreciate. Yeah. So that's enough chit chat about this beast. Let's get in the van, let's get to the job, and I'll show you how to change over your old whole house booster pump for this beast here. It's going to be absolutely wicked. So then guys, this is the pump that's gone wrong. The symptom of the problem is that it keeps going out after about 5 minutes. So if they've got a lot of people here, and this house has got 3 or 4 bathrooms that it's serving, so quite a few bathrooms and that, and if they've got a lot of people here like they did over Christmas, this pump cannot keep up with demand. So what we're going to do, we're going to isolate it electrically, and it's quite easy for us to do on this because we can just unplug it like that, and there we go, it's now electrically removed, which is nice. And later on I'll be putting this plug back on for our new pump when we pop it in. Then what I'm going to do is we're just going to turn these valves off here, and I'm just going to do a flow test on the hot and cold side. Now if we look at this system very quickly, this is the hot in here. I actually fitted this tank next door, so that side's got a lever valve on it, but the cold feed side directly from the tank doesn't have a feed valve from it. Also, this is fed from a side outlet on the tank, so we know that it's lower down on the tank so no air can get into the system. So it's been properly installed, it just seems like the pump has failed. I actually fitted this tank many moons ago on this channel, so you can go back and find that video and watch it if you like, but let's see if he's still got his dirty little poster in there. Chris, you filthy boy. Look at it, lovely. Here's the lovely tank that I installed, and if we just stop there, you'll see that blue handled valve on the right hand side is the one that I have to switch off to the hot water feed of the pump that we're replacing. Unfortunately, the cold feed side does not have a lever valve on it, so it's going to be a venture up into the loft. Right, so number one, the tank is massive. Look at the size of that tank. So what I'm going to do first is we're going to find the valves, because there's a load of valves just out of shot down there. We're going to turn all of them off. Then we're going to open up that cold feed on the right hand side to make sure that we found the right valve and isolated it, let that drain out. Then we're going to cut in a lever valve downstairs properly, like you should do when you're doing a job like this. Yes. Then once we've done that, we can open that lever valve, we can open these valves up here, and then make sure that we've got full flow coming out. I just want to make sure we haven't got any water supply issues that may have affected the old pump and actually caused it to go wrong. That's what we're going to do now.
Love, 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 love. I just love to be in a love. Rack droppings everywhere. Fiberglass getting in my bum crack hair. Now I've turned off these valves, we can go back downstairs. Make sure everything is turned off and wash out my bum crack hairs.
Look just how much water we've got up here stored, ready to go. That is massive. Right, let's get out of it. Now that I'm pretty sure I've got the water off upstairs, I'll turn the valves off on the flexies themselves, and then popping a towel around the bottom of the old pump, remove the plastic nut unions that go onto the pump itself. I don't always 100% trust the valves that are actually on the flexies themselves, and you're going to see why in a minute. We've got all these off now. We're isolated here and here. We've not got any water behind this pipe here because that's isolated on that lever valve up there. We're going to have a stack of water going to the taps that we're going to have to drain through into a bucket here. The same on this, because these are the outlets to the taps. These are the feeds down. So we're going to have water on this side here because there isn't a lever valve on this side. So we're just going to pull this out of the way and, oh man, that is so annoying. That. Stop it. That is such an annoying thing there. Right, let's just get this out of the way. Oh, look at it. Heap of poo.
No, I'm not going to stop leaking. Not even now.
Right, so let's get rid of the water out of this one first, because it's obviously leaking out of here. So let's just get rid of all that. So this is the water we're letting out at the moment from every outlet in the house. What I'm going to do is just go upstairs now and open up a hot tap just to allow air into the top of all this. And we'll do the same if we can. Oh, blimey. With that one there as well. Right, so all the water's out there. Little trick for you, if you can't get these off, get yourself some adjustables, just get them to that size, and then things got pretty bad here, didn't they? Once I've done this bit, I'll open every hot and cold tap in the house that this pump supplies.
Don't you all just love a leak? A leak that never stops, even though the water's not getting in there anymore.
Okay, so we should just be able to drop this into here now, and then make sure, by opening this valve up, that we've actually got the right valve up top. Look at that. Exactly right. So what I'm going to do right now, while we're here, we're just going to cut this further up the pipe and just get a valve in here straight away.
Arcs, ratchet, slice. Arcs, ratchet, slice. I just love cutting valves into pipes. And now the next boss up. Convert our pipes to their delight. Or to her delight.
All of our hoses are going to go just down here out of the way, and just try to sort of find a place where this can go that isn't going to be too bad. So our outlets are these two here, our inlets are these two here. This is defined by the fact that we've got obviously arrows on there that should tell you that quite simply. Right, so I'm just going to cut this out of the way. So I've just glued down a couple of pieces of wood just here, and I'm just going to pop that on there like so. And that's going to be a nice firm base for that to sit on. It's a good idea now to put our flexible hoses on. Make sure when you're doing up the nuts in the bottom, you just nip them up lightly. Remember, it's sealing on a rubber, which means we don't have to over tighten like mad. We should just be able to nip them up about a quarter to a half a turn once they've started to go tight, and that should mean that they're nice and watertight. And if you do get a leak, you've still got a little bit of nip up to go to make sure that you seal it. Right, done that. Now back up into the loft, turn those two valves on again, and then we can do a flow test to make sure that our hot and cold are going to supply this new pump properly. Okay, so I've just popped this little bit of pipe on here. It's probably not going to be the piece I use, but I just want to do a flow test, just make sure we've got enough water coming out. Just so you know, most people don't really do this bit. It was just to make sure that we've got no blockages down on that one run of pipe. That's why I don't do the test for that long. And I would say that's pretty good. So we're all good for flow when it comes to the cold side. Whip this out of the way. And we're just going to test the hot side. So that's pretty good as well. So now, let's get this beast installed. Just gonna pop it in, back exactly where I want to seat it. We'll do the electrics last, once we've made sure we've got no leaks. So our outlet is this pipe here. So that's gonna go straight into this pipe here. This pipe here is gonna go onto that pipe there. And then somehow we'll find a way of swinging this pipe round and getting it into there. And then our hot feed will go into this one here. So, let's get on with it. Pipework is pipework, guys, and I know that you love to watch it happen. It's a beautiful, beautiful process. One thing I would say is don't do what I did here and make sure you actually remove the braided hoses and the pump before you do any soldering, because our soldering flux can damage the pump. There we go, done quite a lot of bending and all that, a little bit of 22mm, nice little workout, got the calories up for that day, trying to lose a little bit after New Year's and all the rest of it. But yeah, some tight old soldering. It's a shame that I can't really change the pipework throughout all of this cupboard, but maybe Chris will let me do that one day in the future. While I'm here, it's probably a good time we talk about the AL Army. For a small monthly fee, you can join the AL Army by clicking on the join button or clicking the link below. You'll get behind the scenes access on YouTube, access to our weekly Thursday evening live streams. My AL Army members have chosen the song that I sing at the end of this video, even though I wasn't very happy with their selection. And you'll also be able to pick them out because they've got spanner ranks on their name, and also they're using the special plumber parts emojis. So click the join button if you can. It's a great community, and it's also an opportunity for you to ask me questions directly about any plumbing problems you may have. Right then guys, so pop the water on, do a leak test. So the hot out is good. And our cold, let's just open that up on here. We're good on there as well. Oh, and we've got water coming out of that tap over there now, which is good news. So now what I'm going to do is just go around the house, turn all the taps off that I've opened already. Look at that mighty fine COVID air. Oh my God, Chris, you've been working out during lockdown?
Drinking beer.
So, turn that off. Good. Make sure as well that you flush any toilets, that sort of thing, just so you know that all the water going up to fill valves is purged as well. Also, this is pretty much what the flow was like when it was on the old pump, so you can see they've got a real problem here when they've got kids in the house, family around for Christmas, and all that sort of thing. Make sure then we've got no leaks, and that means we've purged the whole system through already. We've got rid of all the air out of the system. We can then safely wire up our plug and pop everything in. Electrics. Poor old Bundy, eh? Oh, electrics are really hard. Yeah, of course they are, Bundy boy. Of course they are. You keep saying that to yourself, bruv. So what I love about that toolbox, it's so easy to get to everything that you want, like almost screwing up stuff, tightening things with like hand tools like that is in there. My little backhoe set. I've got my little bit of Loctite in there, in this side. My tap spanner, a chisel, like a really crap chisel. I've also got my little junior hacksaw in there as well. Just does a bit of everything, you know what I mean? One thing I'd say about wiring up one of these pumps is it's great to cut back the wire so you don't have as much wire going about, but there are factory fitted crimps on the full length of wire, and sometimes I think it's just better to use the full length so you can use that factory fitted crimp, thus getting a proper electrical connection. The first time you turn the pump on, it's a good idea to have the taps open throughout the house and then go around and turn them off individually. Make sure you've got people watching as well, just to make sure you don't overflow any basins, because the flow this time round is going to be insane. Right there, so we've got that on. Just want to test the major problem, the bath.
Everything alright?
Everything's fine. Right then, so let's check the bath. Apparently it wouldn't run for long at all. Let's see how we get on. So, turn that off. That's pretty good. I'm feeling that needs a bit of a cleaning. Should we open loads of them and see how it gets on? That there. So that one's still running. Let's turn this one on. Still loads of pressure. It's really quite mental how much this can pump out. Let's see if we can get away with it in here as well. Nothing came out of these taps before. Okay, so that's like 6 outlets open. Ah. That is bad. So crazy. Was it a short one? That's crazy. So then guys, there you go, all done. It's quite an easy job, isn't it? If you can make sure that your water turns off, if you can drain everything down, and you've got those flexible hoses nice and easily out the way, all we've got to do is a couple of soldered joints if you have to, or you can do what I did and pop a couple of valves in as well and make it a little bit easier for you to valve it off next time round. Admittedly, I don't have a valve out on the cold outlet, but that one didn't tend to drip like mad like the hot outlet did coming back as well. If I was going to say anything about what you need to think about when you're doing this sort of job, it's just to make sure that everything is fully drained down, make sure that everything's properly electrically isolated, and if you're not happy doing that, get a professional to come in and do it for you. Make sure you follow the instructions when it comes to turning the pump back on, make sure all the pipework is fully purged of air, because if you don't do that, you'll find that it just starts to hunt quite a lot more. And then do a proper flow test. Make sure that every toilet flushes, make sure that every outlet works, make sure that your customer's happy as well. Finally, a little tip that I would give you is to get all your water and everything like that turned on before you put the electrics back on. It's really, really important, because if you've got a leak, what's the point in having the electrics on? You might as well just keep them out of the way until all the water's sorted out. Get the water done first, then the electrics. That'd be my little thing. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you want to buy yourself one of these pumps, we've got them available in our Amazon store, so you can go and buy them now. there's a link to the Amazon store below. The guys who live here are really, really impressed. They're actually, one of the things that Chris just said was how quiet it is and how much smaller it was than the old unit. And he did say, I wish I'd filmed him saying it, he was like, it just looks a lot better, doesn't it? It just looks like a much better pump. And I'm like, yeah, man, definitely. I mean, it does look absolutely class. And also, it's a fairly nice install. I mean, the problem is we're fitting it in a place where I haven't been able to do all the pipe work from scratch. Believe me, I'd love to cut all this lot out, everything behind it, all the heating pipes. Just needs redesigning, this lot does, but it's one of those things. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's video, guys. I'll see you in the next Plumber Parts video. We've got a lot of videos coming up, so make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell as well, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember, there's one thing you've got to do, that's hold tight. See you soon. Oh baby, now I'm going to go and have myself a packet of Frazzles. Oh, I haven't eaten anything today.
My little cow when I am in the shower, but now it feels like I am living in drought because there is no pressure. I went onto the internet and typed into the YouTube search bar, had to fix my shower pressure throughout the house, and then I was in plumberparts. How does it feel to be nice and clean? How does it feel? I love the way you manufacture brakes. I love the way that you want a guarantee. And if you ever said to me how many outlets have you got, I know that you would always hit the spot. I thank the Lord providing me with reliable pumping technology. Technology. Good, baby. See you in the next video, guys.